What's going on, everybody? It's JetsCentral coming back with the late recap video of yesterday's game, 1 o'clock kickoff between the New York Jets at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this is this game I went to, right? I drove all the way up there, drove all the way back to witness that. Very disappointing, and let's just get right down to brass tacks. Let's not waste any time here. How do you expect to win and really just be competitive in football games when your offensive line looks like that? How do you expect to win football games when you're constantly turning the football over? 3 interceptions from Darnold. 7 in the last 2 games combined. How do you expect to win football games with not having any sort of halftime adjustments? The offense could not get rolling. Le'Veon Bell was not really involved. Just kept turning the ball over. Darnold was just running for his life back there. And I will say this, because I don't want to take away any credit from Jacksonville, because they have some ballers on the defense side of the football. Calais Campbell, they have so many players. Josh Allen, the rookie, there's a debate last night on Twitter. Jets should have picked Allen at 3 because he is dominating this season, leading the league in sacks, and we are obviously horrible at getting after the passer. And I mean, it's almost like, you ever hear that saying, like, what could go wrong will go wrong? That's pretty much what went down since the offseason. Like, whether you want to talk about the Gase hire, like the worst possible coach that we could have got, it was Gase, firing the GM after the draft, cutting our 3rd round pick that we let the GM that we knew we were going to fire, weird things like that. Players getting hurt, players getting suspended, players getting sick, losing games, getting blown out. And here's the thing too. This is the thing that's absolutely nuts. It's insane. It's mind-boggling, to say the least. And I'm trying to put it in words here, so bear with me. How is it that the New York Jets last season were a bottom 3 team in the league? We go out and we spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. C.J. Mosley, Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell, Brian Poole. We have the 3rd overall pick in Quinnen Williams. We supposedly upgrade our coaching staff to get a coach in the building to help develop Sam Darnold. Darnold has a year under his belt, and we are so much worse. That makes absolutely no sense to me at all. How is that even possible? We're a bottom 3 team in the league last season. We dropped so much money in free agency. We have the 3rd overall pick. We upgraded the coaching staff, and we look like just... I mean, I'm speechless at this point. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, I don't really have a lot of games under the Todd Bowles era where I can just look at and just say, "Oh my God, that was just horrible." I mean, there was a couple games like Denver, like waving the white flag in the middle of the 3rd quarter, ending the game. That pissed me off, but that was kind of more John Morton. And then we had a game last season against the Buffalo Bills where Matt Barkley started and lit us up in MetLife. But really, those are the only 2 games that I really just cringed at. Those are the kind of the 2 games that I always think back on the Todd Bowles era, and I'm always like, oh my God, those were just embarrassing coaching jobs. So far through the Gase tenure, it's pretty much been every game. Outside of the Dallas game, but even in the Dallas game, they didn't have their left tackle, they didn't have their right tackle. They were kind of going through a weird period as well, losing streak. What was going on with Jason Garrett? What's going on with Jerry Jones? Amari Cooper left that game early with an injury too, so that win could have also been skewed. So bottom line is this: we are not a good football team, unfortunately. I thought we were going to be a good football team. I didn't think we were going to be an amazing football team. I wasn't one of those guys that were saying, "Oh, we're going to go 13-3, 12-4, 11-5." I thought 10-6 was the absolute best case scenario. I thought 9-7, 8-8 was more realistic. And at the very worst, 6-10, 7-9. And yes, we can still, possibly get 10-6 if we win out. because we actually do have some easy games on the schedule. Miami twice, Cincinnati, Washington. We should beat all four of those, or really all three of those teams. Which gives us whatever, a handful of wins on the season. But you can make the argument, why even do that? Because all really that's going to do is just push the draft pick back. It's going to convince Chris Johnson to keep everything keep everything the same. Because this is the absolute worst case scenario. What I'm about to say, okay? If the Jets go 7-9, 6-10, 7-9, or even 8-8. Well, no, because 8-8 is actually a decent season. That's an average season. But if we go 6-10, 7-9, not only will we have like pick 15, 16, 17, somewhere in that range, which is obviously, that's bad. Because you're in no man's land. You're not good enough to be making the playoffs and to be actually competing with good teams, but you're also not bad enough to where you can't really kickstart a rebuild and draft a Nick Bosa. You can't go in the middle of the draft or at the top of the draft and draft a Myles Garrett. You're not getting, or I should say that the chance of you getting one of these franchise-changing players is a lot slimmer at spot 16, spot 17. Now, I fully believe that it's possible and that we can do it. I was about to go on a little side tangent right there. I stopped myself because I guess I'll bring it up. Might as well do it. Every week it's a loss, so might as well do it. I was going to say that I feel like it's not that hard to pick players in the first round. I really don't think it's that difficult. And I know that comes across as arrogant. I know it comes across as, who is this dude that's saying that NFL GM's job is easy? That's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if Jamal Adams is on the board at pick 6, every football fan knows that he should be the pick. Every person on Twitter thinks that he should be the pick. It's not that difficult of a choice to pick certain players. And for whatever reason, the Jets have been absolutely god-awful at picking players, especially in the middle rounds. Very difficult to kind of let that marinate and let that sink in. And just letting that simmer overall, just thinking about all of these squandered draft picks. And we look across the league. Look at the Saints. Look at the Seahawks. Look at the Steelers. Look at the Patriots. Look at the Chiefs. Look at all these good teams around the league. Even the Buffalo Bills they lost yesterday, of course. But still a very, very formidable season this season by Buffalo. All of these teams know how to draft well. We don't. We picked Jason Morrow and Devin Smith and Christian Hackenberg and D. Milner. And Sheldon Richardson's not on the team anymore. And Leonard Williams is being shopped around. And Geno Smith didn't work out. And Ardarius Stewart and Chad Hansen are not on the team anymore. And Ja'Kai Polite did not even make the practice squad. And Lorenzo Malden, whatever happened with him? It's thing after thing. Not drafting offensive line in like the last decade. How do you expect to build a team when it feels like the team is just kind of a boat with a bunch of holes in it and you're just putting bandages over them, as opposed to, really investing in buying the materials to replace the boat? So that was my side tangent. I guess I could go on and on about the coach and, how many countless times we've said on this channel, Matt LaFleur will be a very good coach. He was available. We didn't go after him. Green Bay, first hire of the offseason. The Green Bay Packers. That happened when I was in New York City. I was up there live streaming the national championship game and a couple of the playoff games. And I was walking in the streets of Manhattan. And I got the news. And immediately that whole next week, everybody criticized the move. Everybody said, all these national sports media outlets said the Packers were crazy and they're idiots and they should have kept McCarthy or they should have hired Vic Fangio or one of these veteran head coaches, but the Packers knew what they were doing. They thought the same thing that you guys did on this channel. Matt LaFleur was going to work out. He was a perfect offensive-minded head coach, but yet everybody was so obsessed with, his numbers aren't top 5 of Tennessee. How good can he really be? The Titans offense isn't as good as the Chiefs offense. It's not as good as the Saints offense. Why would we bring a middle-of-the-road guy, rankings-wise? It's one of the reasons why I hate statistics, but I digress. The point is that we pretty much hired the worst coach available, outside of maybe like a Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell is probably the only coach I would have probably rather had Gase, but at least with Caldwell, you can say he had some decent seasons in Detroit. So, yeah, Jets have a lot of work to do. And what's happening in this Jets locker room is something that I haven't seen in a very, very, very long time, which is this losing kind of mentality where everybody is depressed and everybody is angry, and finger pointing might start happening pretty soon, and they might blow up the team and stuff like that. And that never really happened that much under the Rex Ryan era, as far as, because I remember that team, even the unsuccessful teams with Rex Ryan not being competitive, not winning that many games, those teams were still competitive. I remember Antonio Allen and Salim Hakeem playing cornerback, and we actually went out and, we challenged New England. Remember, Geno Smith's rookie year, everybody wants to make fun of Geno Smith. He's so horrible, so bad, he's so bad. That year we went 8-8. We went 8-8 with marquee wins. Atlanta on Monday night, New Orleans Saints at home, New England Patriots. Geno Smith beat those teams his rookie year. 8-8 sounds pretty damn good right now. But here's the crazy thing. That year that we went 8-8, we had absolutely nobody. Geno's rookie year, starting a second round quarterback that was not supposed to start to begin with, clearly was not ready. Didn't really have much at wide receiver. Stephen Hill, we all know what he turned out to be. Santonio Holmes was kind of old at this point. Or at that point, rather. We didn't have much. But yet, we still managed to win 8 games and be 500 at the end of the season. So, it's very disappointing. When you take a look back at history. But what's done is done. The only thing that we can really do now is just row the boat and continue to control what we can control and focus at the task at hand. And the task at hand is the Miami Dolphins. Can we beat them at this point? I have no idea. The Miami Dolphins have just been a complete embarrassment this year. It does seem like Brian Flores wants to lose games, the way he's handled the quarterback position, the way he's handled late in-game scenarios, even like on going for 2 at the end of the game. That's very questionable. That's saying to me, we might win this game, but the number 1 pick is more important. The Cincinnati Bengals haven't won a game. The Redskins, they haven't won a game when they played. Let's just go for 2, sneak out of here with a loss kind of thing. That's what it says to me. So we'll see what happens this Sunday. The game's in Miami. Adam Gase does know the team pretty well, as far as personnel and like kind of what makes them tick. So expect if the Jets come out there and blow the doors off Miami, I'm not going to be too surprised. We frankly should. We are much better team on paper, especially because they don't have Laramie Tunsil and Minka Fitzpatrick anymore. So we should destroy this team. But I'm not going to be surprised if Miami walks out a winner. I really will not be. That's how bad this season has gone. Going back to the game real quick, 13-minute rant video. I know it's not even a recap video, but whatever. At this point, at this point in the season, things just computer died. Basically, what I was just alluding to was, we got to get a lot better defensively, offensively, even on special teams too. I feel like the Jets start out every single drive within their own 15-yard line. Let's just take a knee. Let's not even bother taking it out of the end zone. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks so much for watching. I know it can be really difficult to kind of experience a season like this. I mean, we're Jets fans here. We've experienced a lot of seasons like this, but you guys are real fans. All right, you guys are real fans, and I do appreciate you guys sticking around and tuning in and stuff like that, because it's just awesome. So I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.